So this is a little bit of a different video I'm making today. Ironically, this channel started out, I wanted to do sort of real estate content, but it got into me basically doing house projects, and it evolved into the House of Projects thing. But I think it's important to talk about this today because being able to do all these projects and all of this is actually all like on purpose. Like, this is what I want to do. And right here, I'm sitting in the parking lot of the building that I drove away from for the last time. Ironically, I'm about to drive away from it again because I came back here to record a video. I was actually at a closing at the building across the street from here. And I left this building in January of 2018, and I left my six-figure corporate job to go embark on doing real estate investing full-time. I had already been doing some deals on the side for a couple of years before that, and I basically told my wife, I said, I'm gonna go all in on this. Like, I'm gonna do this. This is what I want to do. And I set a goal when actually my son was born. My first son was born, Mason. He's now almost 9 years old. He's 8.5. I said when he is in kindergarten, I want to be there for him when he gets out of school every day. I don't want to be stuck in an office. I made that as a goal for myself, and I did that. So he was born in 2015, and in 2018, I left corporate America. So January 18th of 2018, I left this building and drove away. That was the last time I worked in corporate America. And it is the best decision I ever made in my life, was leaving corporate America and getting out of that bullshit. I worked in corporate America. I actually started working sort of a corporate office job when I was 19 years old. Worked for a telemarketing company, and then I went to go work for another company, and then worked for them for a number of years. And then I actually got laid off from that company because they decided to close our office here in Atlanta. And they gave us the option to move to a few different other offices. And this was in 2009, and at the time I said no. I had actually just bought my first house in 2007. I was upside down on that house because the real estate market crashed. I owed more money than the house is worth. I said, I'm not going to take a bath on this house. I'm going to stay here in Atlanta, and I'll just take my chances of finding another job. So I took the severance package from that company, and I left. And ironically, within about a month and a half, like 6 weeks, I found another job. Actually worked for Verizon Wireless for almost 6 years, and worked there. And then after Verizon, I left and went to a smaller, I got a great job offer to run risk management. Basically, I wasn't like the number one guy in charge of risk management. I was just under him, but I was basically running risk management for that company. It was a smaller company, and I did that for about 15 months, and I absolutely freaking hated working at that place. The pay was awesome. In fact, they started me out, let's see here, when I left Verizon, I was making $76,000 a year, something like that. And this other company offered me $95,000 a year base plus bonus. When I left that company, only like 15 months later, they had just given me a bump up to like $120,000 a year. They gave me this huge pay raise because they loved what I did. But that job, I was so freaking miserable because the guy that ran that company was, I swear he was like bipolar or something. That job was an emotional roller coaster. Okay. And they were paying me killer money, but I was so freaking stressed out because the guy would go from 1 minute he'd be your best friend to the next minute he's literally crucifying you in front of all of your peers in a business meeting because of some minor little screw up. Not even a screw up, like literally things that I honestly don't even really have any control over, things that got messed up. And he's laying into me in a meeting over this stuff. And he did it to everyone, would humiliate you in front of everyone, call you names and just degrade you in front of everyone. And then an hour later, something good happens and he's your best friend in the world and he's praising you. And then the next day he's tearing you down. This job was an emotional roller coaster. And I finally had enough of that. My wife was like, no, like, that's bizarre. I'm over here, like, you can't see it in the thing, but the local Tesla dealership parks all their like excess Tesla inventory. And the back hatch of this Tesla sitting here just opened up. That's random. Okay. So anyways, I quit that job and I found another job and I went to work here. And I worked for this company for about 18 months. No, actually like 2 years. And then I left, ultimately left. And the reason I left the one company that was super stressful is because, yeah, the pay was great. I actually took a pay cut to come here and work for this company here. My base was about, my base here when they started me was like $85,000 a year plus about a $20,000 bonus. So I was making a little over 100, and when I left there I was making 120, and the bonus that I was promised at the other place never ever came to fruition. Anyways, never made a bonus. Anyways, so I came here and I worked here for a couple years. By the time I left here, it obviously was earning more money, but I left this 6-figure corporate job and I went to go do real estate full time. And the irony about me coming here today is the closing that I just left and the deal I just sold, I made half of my annual salary that I made at this place in one transaction over here. Not to say that real estate is the end all be all and you'll make $1 million, because it's an emotional roller coaster too, but it's a great emotional roller coaster. But the reason I left is because I wanted freedom. And I have structured my real estate business so that I have freedom and I have free time to do projects at my house. I have free time to go pick up my kids. For example, I was talking to the closing attorney here, and this deal I just sold, I actually bought this deal right after Christmas. I bought it December 28th. I'm making this video now. It is June 27th, so literally almost 6 months to the day. I'm selling this property. But this property I bought actually sat and nothing happened to it for like a little over 2 months, because I've mentioned it in some of these other videos, but our son has a brain tumor, has a diffuse midline glioma, a DMG. And if any of you know about a DMG, I'm not going to get into in this video, but the prognosis is not good, okay, with the DMG. He was originally diagnosed with a low-grade glioma in September, and then it was upgraded in January to a high-grade glioma. He's doing very well right now. He's very stable. We've got him on an inhibitor drug. He's doing very well, but the reality is it's probably temporary. But I had the freedom to literally take 2 months off. I basically took 2 months off from doing any work. All of my projects were sitting at a standstill. I was still doing an occasional deal or there, like wholesaling a deal or two or whatever. But for the most part, from like January until March, I didn't do anything with my business, because every morning I was taking him down to Emory University Hospital in Atlanta to the Winship Cancer Center and taking him to radiation treatment every morning for 7 weeks straight. I had to take him every single morning down to Emory 5 days a week and drive back home. We live in Canton, Georgia, which is it's about an hour away. Hour drive down there was about an hour and a half drive back, because we drive back in traffic. Anyways, this real estate business allowed me the flexibility to be able to do that. It allowed me to be able to have freedom to make decisions and take a couple months off. Was I not, like making money during those 2 months? Yeah. But we were okay. My wife still works. My wife has a great paying corporate job. She loves what she does. She wants to continue to do that. When she decides she wants to quit doing that, we'll figure out a way so she can quit. But right now she loves her job and does what she does. And her job gives her the flexibility to do what she wants. Some corporate jobs do give you flexibility. We have great, insurance benefits through a company, which has been a godsend through all the medical issues that we've been going through. It's choose freedom. Don't stay at a shitty job that you hate. You have options. Don't feel like you don't have options. There are options out there. And if you want to leave your job and you want to go do real estate full time, then absolutely do it. Because, it's worth it to me, right? Is it easy? No, nothing's easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. It's not easy. But if you dedicate your time and your effort and you make it a goal for yourself to succeed at what you're doing, and if you have grit and determination and you don't give up and you don't take no for an answer and you do whatever it takes to get that job done, you will be successful. You will have some hiccups along the way. You will have some stressful nights. You will be broke. You will be rolling in cash. You will make good decisions. You will make bad decisions, but that's part of the journey. But at the end of the day, I think, regardless of the amount of money, the most rewarding part about leaving my corporate job was freedom. And that's why I left it. And I have freedom. I'm sitting here in the parking lot. It's 10:30 in the morning. I'm going to head back home. I got to go make some videos for my real estate business because I do a lot of content for that. Also, I have 2 other YouTube channels that I create content for my real estate business to generate leads for the business. But I'm going to go home, make some videos today. Finally close this deal out today. And like I said, on this one deal, I made half of what I was making at my corporate job here in one deal, right? So, and we've got other deals in the pipeline. So if you're thinking about leaving your corporate job, do it. Some people like corporate America. I hated it. I hated working in a cubicle. I hated all the bullshit and the fake people, and the people that were bullshitting their way through life and they were flying under the radar. And, I'm not going to get into some of the people I worked with here, but there was one particular person that I did not care for at all. And I was so glad to leave that place. Everyone else that I worked with here was fantastic. In fact, when I pulled up in the parking lot here, I took a picture and texted to some of my former coworkers here, because I worked with some really fantastic people here. But I'm so glad that I left, and that was the best decision I made. And if you're thinking about leaving your corporate job, I highly recommend it. You'll figure it out, right? If you're the type of person that's scrappy and can figure stuff out, you'll figure it out. In fact, I was just watching there was a Rod Cleef posted something. He's a multifamily guy. He just posted something about, having spouse support. And I mentioned one of the things, I commented on it, and I mentioned one of the things when I first got started in real estate and I was like looking to buy all these deals. My wife was like, how are you going to buy those deals? We don't have any money. Or we don't have enough money to buy a $350,000 house this week. And you just bought a house last week. How are you going to do that? Well, many years ago, she stopped asking that question because I figured out if you find a good deal and it's a good deal, you'll find the money. So don't let the money hold you back from doing good deals, because if it's a good deal, someone will front the money for that deal because they know they're going to make a return on the investment. You find a partner, you find a lender, whatever, you figure out a way to make that deal happen where you make some money. And on your first few deals, you probably won't make as much money as you would like to make, but those are educational experiences. My first few deals, I didn't make a ton of money. And I still, have some misses here and there where I don't make as much money as I thought. But at the end of the day, keep pushing forward, do the next deal, do the next deal, do the next deal, keep making money, and be buying passive income assets. For example, I've got actually, when I get back home, I need to start prepping. I've got a tenant that's going to be out at the end of July. She's going to be leaving. She had an option to buy the property, but she's decided she's not going to buy it. She ended up going through a divorce. And they were originally, her and her husband were going to buy it originally, and they decided not to buy it. So I'm actually going to re-lease this property up, do another lease option on it. But the crazy part is now this property is worth $100,000 more than I paid for it. Like I'm sitting on $100,000 in equity after paying. If I were to sell it today and pay some real estate commissions, I'm an agent myself, but if I were to sell it today and pay real estate commissions, I have $100,000 in equity, right? And I actually could sell it for $150,000 more than I bought it for. I put some rehab money into it, so the equity part of that is, you know, I did the BRRRR strategy on that. So if you're looking to learn more about real estate, give me a shout. I specialize now specifically in probate and inheritance properties. I found sort of a niche. The riches are in the niches, and I just focus on one niche, and I just do that one niche really, really well. And I've also focused on a niche that honestly is never going to go away. People are always going to die. And I know that sounds morbid, but the reality is a lot of people die and their heirs inherit a property, and the heirs need to sell this property, and I'm here to buy it because I'm an expert in that topic. I offer more value at that transaction than lots of other people do because I know all the ins and outs and all the crazy stuff that happens in probate, and I've become an expert at that over the years, and I've focused on a niche, and I'm staying in that niche, and I'm also doing some very unique things to attain these leads for probate stuff that most real estate investors are not doing, and that's a whole different conversation for a different day. So I know this video is long. My videos are always long, and I ramble a lot. That's just me. If you don't like it, go watch a different channel. So, all right. Thanks for checking out this video. If you're thinking about leaving your job, I highly recommend it. Figure out a way to do it. Make a plan. Execute the plan. Have a nice day. See ya.